Hello, guys. How are you? This is Dr. West. Let's see. Let me try to share this with my group. How are you guys doing? Come in and chat with me for a few minutes about this college admissions and all of these test optional things going around. This is only for parents and students who are thinking about attending college, and especially if you're in 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. It's time to really get busy and start thinking about these things. Once you come in and share. Let's chat. Say hello when you come in. Say hello. I'm Dr. West. How are you? So I will just be talking briefly. I hope some of you come on in and chat with me for a minute. And if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer those. If you're watching, just come in and say hello so I can see who you are. Share the broadcast with parents of high schoolers, even middle school, 7th grade, 8th grade. It's time to start thinking about these things because, hey, Denaja, how are you? Hey, Mr. McGee, how are you? Hey, don't forget to share, guys. Share. So let's chat. If you guys have any questions, you can start dropping them in. I will be glad to answer. Hello, Miss Hickman, how are you? So let's just have a quick conversation about test optional and different things that's happening right now. Can you guys hear me okay? Let's just chat real quick about different things that's happening with the college process. We know things are looking so different right now, but that's okay. So I'm here to give you some information to make sure you are clear on different things and what's happening. Okay, hey, Denaja, have you been filling out college applications and looking for scholarships? I hope so. We got to talk later, okay? So, test optional. So, test optional, and then you have some colleges who have suspended the requirement for SAT and ACT. Okay, so test optional basically means you can apply to a college and you don't have to submit an ACT or SAT score. Okay, let me say that again. Test optional basically means that you can apply to a college and you don't have to submit an ACT or SAT score. That means you won't be penalized, okay, if you don't submit a score. However, if you read down to the bottom, on those incoming freshman pages, every college has one, incoming freshman requirements. But if you read down all the way down to the bottom where they're talking about, it's test optional, or we have suspended the requirement for ACT or SAT, if you read the fine print, if you read down to the bottom of those pages, they will also say, if you are able, okay, listen to me. They will also say, once you scroll all the way down to the bottom, once you read the fine print, it will say, if you are able to submit an ACT score or an SAT score, you may do so. Okay. Let me say this. I would be in the group of those if you're able to submit it, okay? That basically means if you're able to safely prep and practice for the ACT and go take the ACT, they would love to see that score. That's what that means. That's what that means, okay? And if you guys please share, and if you have any questions, drop them in. I will be glad to answer them. So for example, Cornell University, that's an Ivy League, okay? You know, Ivy Leagues, you can't just waltz into an Ivy League and get accepted. Cornell University, they just suspended the SAT and ACT requirement, okay? It's no longer mandatory. It's no longer mandatory for their application process, and that's for the 2022 incoming classes 2022. However, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of that page to their website on Cornell University, it also says, but we encourage you to submit a score if you're able to submit a score, okay? When you see stuff like that, I highly recommend that my scholars and my parents try to take the initiative to get an ACT score, okay? Try to get an ACT score because, for one thing, that's still the fastest way to get scholarship money from these institutions, okay? Plus, what happens is if you apply without an ACT score or SAT score, they're going to look and really scrutinize your GPA, your curriculum, the courses that you took. They're going to want more documentation. They're going to want to see that you took on leadership roles. You're going to, and it says it, okay? And it says that. So they're not going to say, okay, no, we've got to trash this application because there's no ACT score. No, they're going to look at the application. Hello, guys. When you come in, say hello. Don't forget to share. They're going to look at the application. However, they're going to look more closely at the classes that you took. Did you take AP classes? Did you take advanced classes, not just basic classes? Do you have all of your foreign languages? Okay, and were you in different clubs, different organizations? What did you do outside of school? What were your extracurricular activities? So that's the other side to it, okay? So be careful with that. Be careful with that, with this test optional, okay? Another school that's doing test optional is University of Alabama. I have several scholars who are headed to University of Alabama, okay? Another thing University of Alabama has done, the writing for scholarships and for entry, you no longer have to do the writing section. The writing is not required. University of Alabama, for the incoming freshmen, it is test optional, okay? And the other thing, and I didn't know that the University of Alabama was doing this, and I always tell my students to take the ACT multiple times. They are going to use your super score, right? You guys know what a super score is, right? I hope you do. Do you guys know what a super score is? So the super score is a game changer. So University of Alabama, you don't have to do writing. It's not required on ACT. And they are going to use your super score. That's an absolute game changer. They're going to use your super score for admissions, and they're going to use your super score for scholarship opportunities, okay? Do you guys understand what a super score is? I hope you do. Now, this is for the students coming in. This is for our upcoming freshmen for 2021. This is for those students who are coming in, applying right now for University of Alabama. They will super score. The ACT writing is not required, and they're going to use your super score for admissions, and they will use your super score for scholarships. Yes. That is awesome, right? Okay, and the other thing I wanted to say is to my athletes, okay? I was so excited to know, I had a young man, he was in my ACT classes for the past 2 weekends, okay? Don't forget to share, guys, when you come in. Don't forget to share and say hello. He's a junior. He plays baseball, and he has already been offered a baseball scholarship, okay? Let me tell you guys how this works. He has already been offered a baseball scholarship. However, most of you know your baseball, volleyball, track, soccer, those different sports, wrestling, those different sports, they will get you a lot of scholarship money. They will get you scholarships. However, you typically won't get a full scholarship with baseball, soccer, wrestling, those types of sports. You usually won't get a full scholarship. So what these students end up having to do is you have to try to increase your ACT score, right? You have to try to get the academic piece, right? And why am I saying that? Because your 9th graders, 10th graders, now is the time. See, you have to do this. You've got to treat high school like a job, okay? Does that make sense? You've got to treat high school, once you hit high school, once you hit those doors, you've got to treat high school like it's a job, okay? So now is the time to diversify your high school portfolio, okay? You may end up playing more than one sport. You might play basketball and run track. You might play volleyball and run track. You might play football and run track. And I see this a lot. And I always encourage my student athletes, don't just, if you can, okay? We know the times are different, but if you can play more than one sport, try to play more than one sport if you can handle it. And that's a really good way to diversify your high school portfolio. You've got to treat high school like a job, okay? You've got to treat high school. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Okay, I cannot stress it enough. You've got to treat high school. Once you hit those doors, 9th grade, you've got to treat it like it's a job. And you've got to now, we're living in that day where you can't just be good at sports, okay? You've got to have a balance. You can't just be the fastest guy on the football field. You can't just be the tallest guy on the basketball court. You've got to also balance out your high school portfolio. You've got to also be taking advanced classes. Just basic classes, that's almost not enough. All right, it's almost not enough. And what else was I gonna say? And like I said, with the test optional, the thing now is, and if you guys have any questions, please ask your questions. The thing now with the test optional, they are, if you submit your college applications without an ACT or SAT score, then they are going to look so close at the classes that you took, your GPA, your extracurricular activities. So now is the time. I cannot stress it enough, parents, students. Now is the time. Once you hit 9th grade, now is the time to start being more diverse, okay? Taking on leadership roles, getting into other organizations, making sure you are participating in extracurricular activities, okay? So I'm Dr. West. I hope all of this made sense to you. Let's see. I don't see any questions. I don't see any more comments. So I think my job here is done. If you don't have any questions, if you have questions later, feel free to drop them in under this video. If you don't want to drop the questions underneath the video, you can just inbox me. I will be more than happy to answer your questions. And I think that is it. And I have already shared. Okay, so I am Dr. West. And once again, you can follow me. I have a private Facebook group where I have lots of scholarships inside my Facebook group. It is ACT and College Ready. So if you are looking for scholarships, once you get inside my group, all you have to do is use the hashtag scholarship. And I've got about 50 to 60 scholarships already inside my group, and you can take advantage. Also, high school seniors, don't forget to complete your FAFSA, okay? Don't forget to complete your FAFSA before February 1st. Try to get that done. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I'm Dr. West, and I will talk with you guys later. Bye.